my question is that if I run ads on my channel, will it affect the organicness of my channel? Because earlier I tried that, and after that I put it video again, but after that the video doesn't goes that much up. Uh, so that's my question.
So, Nicholas, this is a community of entrepreneurs. We are going to be touching the 100 mark very soon in a couple of minutes. And we meet every Thursday and we talk about everything that an internet entrepreneur needs to be able to grow online. Why online? Because you save so much time and the rest of the time can be poured back into life. So thank you very much for taking the time out for this. So, we always like to start, we always say that the shortest distance between two human hearts is always a story. You tell a perfect stranger a good story and you win a heart for life. So I'm going to tell you a short story of who I am and then we'll ask you to tell us yours.
Okay.
Okay. So my name is AskAviArya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. Over to you.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, so for me, do you want like a quick story like that, or do you want me to go into a little bit deeper one?
However you want it.
Well, I think I'll go into a little bit more of my story because it's relevant to YouTube ads. So I went through a phase about 2 years ago. It's actually almost 2 years ago now, where I tore my pectoral tendon. And it came from a place of me being at a very low place. Just dealt with a breakup, business wasn't going well. The only thing that was going well was fitness. And I went to the gym one day in particular, and I was working out really hard. And all of a sudden, like I'm benching a little bit more weight than I usually do. And then all of a sudden I'm putting the last rep up, about to try to rack it. And it just, all the weight just falls back on me. Come to find out, I tore my pectoral tendon. I've never experienced anything like this. And then it took me a while to get out of that. I was actually living with my parents at the time because I was visiting them. And so it was about 2 months I lived with my parents. I was sleeping on a recliner for about a month, just in a sling like this. And so it was, like I said, it was a really dark time for me. And the thing that got me out of it was personal development. It was books, it was audios, it was training courses, it was information. And so once I finally got out of that, I had a really big transformation where I just really started investing in myself, really believing in myself, really betting on myself, and really had a great transformation. And so that's when I really dove into YouTube ads. And and the reason I share all this is because I really started getting a vision for this, because I realized how many people were in a position where I was, were just depressed, anxious, all the negative emotions. And, like I said, the thing that got me out of that was personal development, books, courses, trainings, all those type of things. And I thought to myself is that if I work with clients that I truly believe in their products and services, and I help them scale their company, because I truly believe that YouTube ads is one of the best ways to scale a company, then I'm truly helping a lot of people. And so that's just kind of why I got such a big vision with YouTube ads. And I think that's relevant to what we're going to be talking about here.
Awesome. So sometimes it seems like your mess becomes your eventual message.
Yeah.
So Nicholas, where are you right now?
Scottsdale, Arizona.
How's the weather?
It's beautiful. Can't beat it. This is the perfect time of year. It's like mid-70s all the time.
Mid-70s, lovely. Okay, so for all of you people who are considering YouTube and then understanding that how your brand can reach out to more and more people, today we're going to talk more about how you can leverage YouTube ads to be able to get your message out there, basically get known, get leads, and get sales. So let's dive right into it. So for entrepreneurs, the one thing that all of us have in common, impatience. We are always seeking the fastest route to be able to get to where we want to be. And fortunately, there are channels like YouTube, Facebook, and advertising. You don't have to wait for the organic growth to kick in. You can do ads and reach out to people in different parts of the world. Now, are YouTube ads for everyone? And can anybody reach out to anybody using YouTube ads?
I would say yes and no. And I'll explain here. So yes, anyone can access them. Anyone can launch them and give yourself a test, because that's the beauty of YouTube ads, is that it's not partial to big corporations that have massive budgets. Like, you can literally start with a $10 a day budget. The reason I say yes and no is because, I've had a good amount of experience. I've spent well over $1 million in managing ads. And so the reason I say no is because I've learned some pretty profound realizations over the last few years. And if you're really looking to generate more sales, that's what I always speak about. Like, obviously you can just use YouTube ads if you want to get more exposure to your channel, if you want more views, you want more likes, like anybody can go in that route. And that's, I would say, yes, anyone can do that if that is your goal. If your goal is that you have a funnel and you want to drive traffic to this funnel and convert that funnel into sales, high ticket sales, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're doing e-commerce, coaching, high ticket, whatever it is. The biggest thing that I would say is really two things: is knowing your audience at a very, very core level and having a good offer. Because what I've seen a fair bit is people come in thinking that, hey, I just want to run YouTube ads and then generate sales, without like really having a dialed in funnel and an offer. And so that comes from people not truly understanding their audience and know what they want. And so there's kind of a saying is that good advertising won't outperform a good offer. And so if your offer isn't dialed in, if your messaging isn't on point, you don't understand your audience, and it's just not connecting with them, then there's no amount of YouTube ads that is going to fix that. So at the core level, your message has to be on point, your funnel has to be on point, your offer has to be on point. And it's okay if it's not right away. Obviously, through that whole process, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, but understand that just starting out is not always mean that like the next day you're going to make sales. It's a constant ebb and flow, a constant process, and just having that mentality that you got to keep on refining it until you get to a point where it will be profitable. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So you're saying, and this is one thing that we talk about in this community a lot, the customer avatar. Your understanding of your customer avatar as if he or she were your best friend. You know that person inside out, know what they would want for their birthday, anniversary, New Year, gift, or whatever. Once you know them that well, that's when you create offers that will delight them. And once you're able to do that, then your offers will mostly do well. I want to break up the next part of the conversation into three parts. One is, how do you use YouTube ads to get known? I'm a lesser known brand. I have very few followers on my YouTube channel. I don't know what to do. Typical entrepreneur syndrome. What should I do to get known using YouTube ads?
So it's to get known, not necessarily generate more sales.
Yes, we'll come to get known separately, get leads separately, and get sales separately. So if I was just to say, I want to get known more, in a particular ecosystem. Say, for example, I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, and I wanted Arizonian entrepreneurs to get to know me and, get more views on my channel and maybe get more subscribers. What should I do? Can I run ads only to Arizona, to entrepreneurs, tell them about who I am, have an interesting channel that talks about entrepreneurship and all of that? And will that then help me just gain subscribers from there? Is that possible?
Yeah. So the thing that I would say to that is, I think kind of what you were explaining is like, hey, can I put up an ad and that can really just help me gain exposure? And yes, that is to a degree. The thing that I would probably recommend over that is just like one single ad to get people to know me. Is what I would do is really just like what you were talking about, knowing your avatar, know that first and foremost. But then once you really know that, then you start putting out consistent content on your channel and consistently delivering value. Now at some point when you have at least like 10, 20, 30 videos on there, now you can start running ads to that channel so that you're not just banking on one single ad. And that's the thing. I feel like that's the biggest thing in today's day and age, is that people are more skeptical than ever before.
Sure.
And so if you think you're going to convert someone with one single video, it can happen. Don't get me wrong, especially if you're a good communicator, you know your audience, you know how to speak, you know how to do that whole thing. But I would much rather have someone see one of my ads. They're like, okay, this guy looks okay. He comes in, they come and check out my channel and they see 30 videos, 30, 50 videos of me just constantly delivering value, constantly giving good energy, and win people over by them constantly just keep on seeing my content. And it's actually even a better strategy, because if you can get people to binge watch your channel, that's the way the algorithm is really going to kick in, so that you can actually start like boosting up on in the algorithm, so that more people are going to watch you. Because that's one of the biggest things. I have a friend that does a lot of stuff with organic YouTube organic YouTube, and they'll put like playlists together so that they'll have someone come and click on it. They watch the first video and then it just keeps on going, just like a Netflix. You know, they want people to binge it, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a business. And the longer that you can keep someone on YouTube, specifically on your channel, YouTube's going to reward you, because you're adding a lot of value to the platform.
Got it. So you can run ads to just get known, and create a playlist back-to-back videos on a particular topic, just like a Netflix series, which has a cliffhanger at the end. And hey, I interviewed Gary Vee. You know what? Now you want to see what I did with Grant Cardone, and now I'm interviewing Nicholas. So one after the other, loop them in, create a playlist, have at least 30, 40 videos online, then run ads toward your target audience. Hey, I've got a channel which talks about A, B, and C, and here I've got a playlist of 7 videos that are going to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. Click now to spend 30 minutes with us or whatever. People click in and they come in. But now, does that necessarily, if my content is good and everything, then I'm going to ask people when they're watching my content to say, hey, consider subscribing. And then if they like it, they may subscribe, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And the thing I would say as well is, in terms of advertising, what's really cool on the YouTube platform opposed to something like Facebook is it's a keyword-based platform. It's a search platform, just like Google. So if you're making content, let's just say how to make money or how to grow a tomato garden. If that's what your content is, and then you have a playlist let's go with the how to grow a tomato. So you have 8 videos that are all about how to grow tomatoes, and then you advertise to people that are searching in how to grow tomatoes. It's very relevant. It's very congruent. So people that type that in, all of a sudden they see your ad, and then they just go through the whole playlist. And if they resonate with you, they like your vibe, then that's what's really going to keep them in. So I always like to make sure you do that, because it's a whole different ballgame on Facebook advertising, where it's like you're just targeting an audience. This is what's really cool. It separates yourself on YouTube, is the fact that you can literally get people that are in search, that have intent on what you have to offer, as opposed to just kind of like showing up out of nowhere and just that interruption marketing on other platforms. Does that make sense?
Got it. So going after the right people based on the keywords that they're searching for. So because it's a search platform, it's easier to target people based on what they're looking for. So what specific tools would you use for understanding what they're searching for?
So there's a few. I really like going into just YouTube and actually start typing things out. So if you go in there and you start typing like how to grow a tomato, like all the keywords will start popping up. And then I would basically take all those. It's basically the auto populate. I'm sure you guys have seen that, where you start typing something in and then all these other answers come in. So I would start typing my core phrase, like how to grow a tomato. And then all of a sudden, like a bunch of other ones would be like how to grow a tomato, how to grow an heirloom tomato, how to grow a tomato organically, like all these things. And then I would just take all those keywords, throw them in the ad campaign. The other thing that I really like to go is to go to the Google Keyword Planner. That's kind of nice because it helps you understand what is the search volume. Because obviously, like if you're bidding on a keyword that only has 10 searches a month, then you're not going to get much traffic. So it's kind of good to get a little bit more of a base understanding on how much traffic you're going to get with these particular keywords. With that said, it is the Google keyword planner. So Google and YouTube are very similar because Google owns YouTube, but it's always going to be a little off because of the fact that it's a Google keyword planner, not necessarily YouTube keyword planner. But I think that probably the best thing for me is, and this is just an advertising mindset that I have, is that test it. You know, you never know until you test it, and you're never going to figure out things until you actually give it a go. So I would just say get a little base understanding. I like to just take the combination of the auto populate stuff as well as Google keyword planner, get all my keywords, throw it in the mix, see what gets traffic.
Got it. What about tools like Tubebuddy and the others? Have you used them, and do they work well?
Yeah, TubeBuddy's good. vidIQ is really good too, because those kind of tools are little extensions that you can just put on YouTube, and it'll kind of give you how much traffic there is, but then they'll also say that what the competition is, because it's always nice. And I would say that's probably a little bit better tool for the organic stuff, because it basically says, here's the search volume, here's the competition. So ultimately what you want to do is you want to get a keyword phrase that has a decent amount of volume, but not too much competition, because especially if you're just starting out or you have a newer channel, the likelihood of you getting ranked towards the top of a keyword that is very competitive is not very likely. So if you're making a video about something that gets a lot of volume, but also has a lot of competition, the only videos that are actually going to rank and then therefore get more traffic are the ones that already have big channels, because again, that's kind of the way it works with the algorithm. So I like that tool, but just like make sure you're looking for where you get green on both, where it has decent volume, but then also the competition isn't really high.
Got it. So we spoke about how to get known. So go to YouTube, do the search bar, put in a how-to question based on what your customer is looking for. It will auto-populate 7 to 10 answers. Copy paste them, click any of them and see which other channels competitors are talking about which of those videos are getting maximum views. Maybe then those will be one of the videos that you want to make. Also go to Google Keyword Planner and see the search volume for those key phrases and make a note of that. And thirdly, vidIQ or TubeBuddy to be able to see the search volume versus competition. And Nicholas says if both of them are green, then that's a good topic to go on. So a little bit of research before creating any kind of video, organic or paid. So that's what our section was on how to get known using YouTube ads. Now we're going to get to the next section. How do you get leads using YouTube ads? So 2 questions here. Can I run YouTube ads to get leads for my coaching, training, B2B, B2C product, whatever, to a cold audience who've never seen me before? And so that's the first question.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. The answer to that is yes. Basically, it's a very similar process. It's just the ad creative. Like, so basically what we've talked about up until this point is basically, hey, you have a YouTube channel, you can run YouTube ads to get more exposure to your channel. And we talked about the keywords, like, hey, if it's, again, just coming back to the example that we've been doing, but how to grow tomatoes. So let's say you do have a business that's all about helping people grow tomatoes. So it'd be the same type of thing where in terms of the targeting, where you target people that are typing how to grow tomatoes. So nothing would change there. It's just a matter of what is the ad creative and then what happens after the ad. And this would be much different because you're basically using in-stream ads, which is the ads that pop up right before the video that you're going to watch, as opposed to what we were talking about before. I would probably recommend a little bit more of the discovery ads, which is the ads that are right next to the related videos, or when after you type in the search bar, then all the results will be there. Then the ad pops up at the top. That's a discovery ad. So if you're trying to generate leads and then therefore sales on YouTube, I would definitely recommend, again, in-stream ads. Those are the ads that pop up right before you're about to watch video. You click on your video and then all of a sudden an ad pops up, and then you can hit skip after 5 seconds. And then they're actually at the end of videos as well. So that's the first thing I would say is like definitely use in-stream ads. And then basically one of the biggest things with YouTube ads, and I really wanted to impress upon your audience here with this, because this is so crucial and so many people get it twisted, because people think, oh, I just need the right targeting, I need the right demographic, and those things are important. You need to know who your audience is, who you want to target, just like what we talked about before. But the thing that swings the biggest lever is your ad creative. How are you speaking to your person, your people? What's the message? And that's, again, what we talked about before, but put so much more energy towards ad creative. And then on top of that is massive testing. A lot of people think that they're going to come in and, hey, I got this one ad. I know exactly what the people are thinking. I know exactly what's going on in their mind. I know how to get a good pattern up. They think they know everything. They create one ad. A lot of times they put a lot of energy and effort and high production into this ad. They put it up and it bombs. And so for me, I'm just like, okay, that was a good test. And I know a lot of people have a different mindset where they're like, oh my gosh, I thought advertising works. Like this doesn't work at all. And so the thing that we really focus on is, how can we test all the different angles? How can we test different messaging? How can we, literally, there's a stat, and I heard this a while back that really made an impression upon me, is that the agencies that have the best success, the ones that are running ads for different companies, they test 11 times more creative than any of the other agencies.
Wow.
So when the standard agency is testing 2 ads, the successful agency is testing 22 ads. So it's just like massively testing creative. And that's why it's good to have a good creative team that can really help you crank out creative. So that's one of the biggest things, is just like testing to finally figure out that needle in the haystack. So after that, then just having a good place to actually collect those leads. When we say leads, I always think about email leads for the most part. So having a good opt-in page that has the similar messaging and it's very congruent. I always like the terminology. I don't know if I came up with this or where I heard it, but like a slippery slope. So if your ad is saying, hey, here's a way to grow heirloom tomatoes organically without having to use any pesticides, I'm just kind of throwing that out, but
Sure.
If that's the messaging on your ad and that's the call to action, hey, go download our free PDF report that'll show you exactly how to do that. On your landing page, you want to have that same messaging so that it's very congruent, so they don't click on ad and be like one message and then they click on the landing page and it's just a little bit different message. You want it very congruent, you want it very slippery, so it's just like, I heard this messaging, I clicked on the ad, and then I went to the page and it's the same exact thing. So it's very congruent. They're like, okay, boom, I want this. Does that make sense?
Got it. Oh, absolutely. So you're saying we can run ads to a cold audience as long as it is relevant to what they've been searching for. So nothing much changes in the research element. Go to Tubebuddy with IQ, Google Keyword Planner, find out what they're looking for, and then give a similar message to them. However, you said test, have as many ad creatives as possible. So I want to just pause on the ad creative part over here. So the ad creative, are you saying that the first 5 seconds can be different? Like could be a horizontal video that my face is coming like, hey, Nicholas, you're looking for tomatoes, or I'm then coming from the side, or I'm wearing a different, something. It's going to get cold in Arizona very soon. These hoodies got sold out last year. What is this, me giving a very different introduction in the first 5 seconds? Does that have a lot to do with the advertising?
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I had a profound experience with this and I wouldn't have necessarily thought of this would be the case unless I saw it. But I had a client that I worked with for a while. We had some pretty good results. We were generating leads for about $12, $13 ish. And we just simply, all we did, because we were kind of being lazy at the time, is that we weren't testing 11 times more, but we were definitely testing. We had like 3-4 more ads. And so only thing that we did, we kept the same core ad, but all we did was we changed the beginning. We changed it for literally like the first 3 seconds. The initial ad was just kind of giving like a statement, like, hey, here's exactly what we're going to be explaining on this video. But what we did is we changed it up and we asked a few questions first. So the variation was, hey, are you looking to become a fitness? Are you looking to grow your fitness business or something like that? And we took that, $13 lead down to $6, $7 lead. So it literally cut it in half simply because of the first 3 seconds. And we just changed it up from going right into the video versus asking a question. So one of the biggest things with an ad creative is really calling out that target audience, because you got to think about it. Most people are sitting on YouTube and they're click on their video that they want to watch. They didn't want to watch an ad. So they're usually just have their mouse hovering over that skip button saying, I can't wait for these 5 seconds to be over. So it's like, how can you speak directly to that person so it kind of takes their finger off of that skip button for a little bit and gets them to pay attention a little bit more. So that's just like one of the big things is like, call them out. I think it's always great to ask questions right away. But yes, to your point, you can literally test the first 3 to 5 seconds, have like 5 variations of the first 3 to 5 seconds, and it can make all the difference.
Lovely. Awesome. So my next question is, there are lots of people over here in our audiences and otherwise. They have somebody selling a hoodie, somebody selling a cap. So it could be a product company. And then there are people who are selling consulting. And consulting means I need to talk to a customer. I need to get a lead. They need to come in face to face, maybe have a half an hour, 45-minute conversation, maybe have multiple conversations before I close that lead. And the third kind of people are, again, coaches, consultants who, again, have some fixed online courses that can be sold without a conversation. So B2B products, a product company, a training company which is selling online courses, or somebody who's saying, get on a call with me and I'll sell you my service. What would be your suggestion to all 3 kinds of entrepreneurs when they're running YouTube ads?
So yeah, I mean, just what you said, there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different things to sell. I kind of might sound like a broken record at this point, but it's just so important is just knowing your audience and being able to speak directly to them. Because from my perspective, it doesn't really change too much. It's just like, where are they in the process? Whether that's the ad, whether that's the landing page, whether that's the sales page, the VSL, the product page. It's the better that you can know the customer, the better that you can speak to the customer, and the conversions will be higher. And so on top of that, I guess like, just, this is like the evolution of our conversation here is like, get more attention. That's great. Now we talked about ads and getting people to the landing page. It's very congruent. So now it's like, okay, how do we continue to increase conversions to make sure that people are, they see the page, it speaks right to them, and then they're actually wanting to take that next action, because that's all advertising marketing is like getting them to take the next action. On the ad, you want them to get the click. You're not trying to sell anything on the ad, you're trying to get them to make the click. On the landing page, you're not trying to get them to do anything besides opt in or whatever the call to action is. And then on the, let's just say, for example, a product page, the only thing you're trying to get them to do at that point is actually purchase. So one thing I would probably say that is a really good idea that can kind of help you understand what's going on is there's an application called Hotjar, a website called Hotjar, that will help you. It'll allow you to record the screens of people that come in and are coming to your website. So then you can kind of see where people get stuck. Or like if you just have like a video sales letter, you can kind of see how long are most people getting to. Let's say you have a 30-minute video and you're seeing that most people are dropping off at 2 minutes. And you're like, okay, well, what is happening at 2 minutes? Do I need to put a pattern interrupt at 2 minutes? Do I need to speak more directly to their desires, to their fears? So it's just like, in addition to knowing your audience and knowing exactly what's going on in their mind, I think it's also very important to just really look at the data and the stats, whether that's the video, whether you want to install Hotjar, but just understand like what are they actually doing? Get more data, because numbers, people lie, numbers don't, right?
Right.
So if you just look at simply the data, yeah, just like what someone said, there is CRO, conversion rate optimization. And the better that you can know your audience, but also know exactly what they're doing once they actually get to the sales process, that's really going to help. And then I think about, like, especially if you are a consultant, I think one of the best things that you can do is hire a setter and a closer. So instead of just like waiting for people to book an appointment, once they opt in, have someone that reaches out to them saying, hey, we saw that you just opted in. We wanted to just connect and see if you had any questions. Taking a proactive approach rather than just expecting them to, book and then actually show up. That was the way we could have done it, 5 years ago, when all this stuff was a lot newer, where people would just come in, they'd watch the video, and then they'd book an appointment, and then they show up. Now there's so distracted. I forget the stat now. I think it just keeps on getting smaller, but they say like our attention span is like 3 seconds at this point. So it's like, how can I continue to engage this person? How can I continue to optimize my conversion process? Whether that I need people, whether I need to just install Hotjar, I need to analyze the video analytics, like just understanding the entire process more, as well as your customer, that's only going to help you. So, and then the other thing is just testing enough. Because I see some people that come through and they'll be like, oh, I spent $100, I spent $500, even $1,000, and I didn't get any conversions. And, obviously that's not, we want to like optimize and be able to convert the highest, but sometimes you just need to go through the process, and you need to get at least 100 clicks to just see kind of what people are doing. I would recommend more so like 1,000 clicks to the site and be like, okay, now we have some actual tangible data before we can make some decisions. Don't just get like 5 people to your site and no conversions. You're like, oh, this doesn't work, because you just need to get more people in there so you can see the law of averages. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. So now my next question is, we spoke about getting known using YouTube ads, getting leads using YouTube ads. Now we're going to come to getting sales. So any case studies, examples of clients you've worked with, or anything that you've seen online, or which are the best ways of getting sales using YouTube ads?
We work with supplement companies, and then we also work with coaches and course creators. That's kind of our wheelhouse. In terms of coaches and course creators, what we've had a lot of good results with is webinars. Auto webinars are nice. That kind of comes down later in the process. I think, like, would you say your audience is more on like the beginner side or more like veteran business owners?
Small and medium business owners who've not had so much success, but they're getting there, maybe, like under $5,000 a month.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the best way to convert someone, in my opinion, is on the phone. You're able to handle objections. You're able to understand their situation. You're able to have a conversation and provide a solution for them. If it is like a consulting offer. And so that's why I really love application funnels, is because basically you have a landing page where it collects their name, email, sometimes a phone number. Then it takes them to a video sales letter that kind of explains them what everything is, and then gives them an opportunity to book a call. So then once they get to the page where it asks them to book a call, you ask them a bunch of questions about themselves or about them. And so then at that point, then you would get on a call with them. The reason that I like this process, even like this potentially could even work with a lot of different businesses, maybe not necessarily to generate sales if you have some type of e-com stuff. But again, the more that I can understand my customer, the better. And I might not be making the most amount of sales right up front, but me getting on the phone with people, them filling out the application process, that gives me a lot more data. And I can have, like, again, coming back to the best and easiest way to make a sale is having a conversation with somebody, because like, yeah, you could have an awesome sales page, or you could have an awesome webinar or auto webinar. But again, do you know if that's really speaking to people? Do you know if they're like, yes, I love this? You don't really know until you really get that feedback. And getting on a phone call is the best way to get feedback, because, just like the conversation that we had, I don't know if this is really sinking in for you unless I ask you that. And you're like, okay, yeah,
Sure.
that definitely makes sense. So I wouldn't know that if I was just making a video for you. And then maybe you send me an email back and say, okay, that makes sense. But like in real time, I'm getting feedback. Is this making sense to you? And so I just think that's the best way to like really get that data. And again, once you know that data a little bit better, then you can start venturing off into the more automated stuff, because that's essentially what we've done with clients is we get the data first, and then we're making sales with phone calls. And then we turn it into a regular webinar where we can continue to get a little bit more feedback. I mean, essentially just like what we're doing here is like, we're asking questions, we're getting feedback from your audience on the right. It's really cool to like understand what's going through their mind. And so that would be like the next evolution. I would say a webinar is really good if you have already mastered through applications, you're able to get sales through that, and you just want to like kind of scale up a little bit. This is the next evolution, because essentially, if this was the case, that doesn't seem like we're just giving value. But if we wanted to sell something, we have a bunch of people that we could be like, okay, does this make sense? All right, here, now we have this to purchase if it is an alignment with you guys. So now you have that direct feedback on a webinar at scale to more people. Once you have that, that the webinar is converting, it resonates with the people that are on live. Now let's turn it into an auto webinar so that we can just automate the process, run ads, make it evergreen so that we don't have to be sitting here on a live webinar every single time. So I think it's just kind of an evolution of like, again, I know I keep saying it, but it's so important. And I just really want to impress upon you guys how important it is, because I think a lot of people get away and just say, oh, I just want to run ads and make sales. That sounds cool, but it's an evolution to get there. So understand your audience as much as you possibly can. If you do have consulting, I would recommend that you do something to get them on the phone so you can have those conversations, understand them a lot more. Then once you're getting past the point where you're kind of getting to a point where you cannot handle just getting on applications, you could hire other salespeople if you want to do that. But then like, if it's getting to a point where you're like really scaling, then you go to a webinar. Then once you have that working, then you turn it into an auto webinar.
Sounds perfect. I love the chronological flow of how things work. So guys, I hope you understood that on how to get sales depending on where you are in the journey. Whatever happens, the one thing which is common is you need to understand your customer avatar, because it all flows down from there. Your ads don't work as well as they should. Your lead magnets, your conversions, everything, your video sales data, everything depends on your customer avatar. So the better you know your customer avatar, everything flows from there. Number one. Number two, what Nicholas said was run ads to an application funnel, that application funnel, get them on a call. Third, do a webinar and answer people's questions. There are live people, you answer the questions. You know that the right people turned up through your YouTube ad. You know this is the right place and the right customers, right targeting. Then you try automating it so that the automated ad works, gets you the queries, and then the queries lead to your CRM. You then have enough people to call them and convert, and that's how you scale a business. Before going, I'd like to invite one of our community members who has a YouTube channel with 112,000 subscribers. Siddharth, would you like to put on your camera and ask a question to Nicholas over here? I'd like to give you the opportunity to come. You worked hard on your channel. You crossed 100,000. You got the silver like button, and turn on your camera. Aryan, please allow Siddharth Bajaj to turn on his camera and ask a question. There you go.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I just wanted to ask one question. My dad keep asking me to put YouTube ads always, because we are running a good channel organically. So my question is that if I run ads on my channel, will it affect the organicness of my channel? Because earlier I tried that, and after that I put it video again. But after that the video doesn't goes that much up. So that's my question. Does it
Okay.
affect the organicness after putting the video ads? Because right now, organically, we are performing really well. And last week, my video went viral organically. Like till now, it has crossed 60K subscribers in a week, 60K views in a week. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I guess first question to that is, what is the goal of your ad? What type of ad are you running? Is it to just get more exposure to your content, or are you putting are you sending people to a funnel and selling them something?
Actually, I'm just putting the ads behind the videos of my competitors only, where they're putting their videos. So I find the target there and I start putting my ad behind their videos, like the discovery ads. If
Mhm.
someone watches a similar video, I just keep a research and take a note about their video. And after that, I create a great video, a personified version of that video where my video looks more better in front of him, so that if the upcoming videos goes, it performs well. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean there is debate, and I've thought about this. It's hard to actually prove whether which direction it is, whether it does poorly affect your channel or not. One thing I would probably say is just test. Like if you really want to figure out for you, test it. Like I would say really put some metrics in and be like, okay, here's where my channel is, see where the growth is, and then I start running ads. Is there an effect on that? Does it start declining? Because that's really the only true test you'll know. Like you could ask me, you could ask my opinion, you could ask 5 other people their opinion, and they could tell you yes or no. But the only thing that's really going to help you really understand that is the data. So I know that's probably not the most amazing answer, but the other thing that I would recommend is that I don't know exactly what you're targeting, but what I would do personally, if I'm just trying to get more exposure, and obviously since you already have people that have watched your stuff and know, like, and trust you, what I would do if I'm doing a discovery ad, I would run into people that already have seen my videos. So you
Okay.
can target people that anybody that's watched your video in the last 540 days. So I'm willing to bet that that would be well over 1 million people. And so basically my mindset behind that is I want to kind of re-scoop up more people that already kind of know and trust me. Because if you're going after a cold audience, this is what could be the case if it is hitting a decline, is because you're targeting a cold audience and people have no idea who you are. And they come and they click on your ad and they see it. And then they're like, I don't want to watch this because I don't know this guy. And so that could be affecting your channel, because they could see a lot of people come into your content, but then leaving after 5 seconds. And that's not helping you in the algorithm, because the goal for you should be getting people to watch your video as long as possible and getting them to binge watch your content. That's what's really going to help your channel grow, as we talked about before. So who are you targeting when you are doing these videos? Or are you doing these ads?
Small, yeah. So I'm targeting the small shopkeepers in 2 tier and 3 tier cities, and my target audience is like the small retail shops, small businesses, and online resellers who wants to start their online business, and drop shippers as well. So
But
my
it,
product is the garments. We are manufacturers of a brand called Bats and Shirts. So we are manufacturers and we are targeting the people who are situated in 2 tier and 3 tier cities, who are looking for a manufacturer, and they want the people who want to order products directly from a manufacturer at their doorstep.
Gotcha. And so just is it a cold audience, or is it people that already know you?
No, it's the cold audience. So
Yeah,
I build up that base from just collecting their phone numbers and email IDs. I personally used to send them WhatsApp, and when my video went live, so I tried to broadcast my new video link in all of my broadcasting groups, so that somehow I can bring the traffic to my channel. That was the
sure.
start I gave. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're testing, you're trying things out. I love that. The only thing I would say is, if it were me personally, I would probably not run any discovery ads to a cold audience. I would just target people that already know me to some degree.
Okay. 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 Thank you, sir.
But yeah, keep going, man. That's awesome. I love hearing your success.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Avi, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. All right, that brings us to the end of today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you learned some, I've been taking note myself for my channel, and we're just going to go into the challenge in a few minutes. But in the interim, Nicholas, Thank you very much for taking your time out for the audience over here. But we'd all like to give a big internet mogul thank you to Nicholas for taking his time out.
Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. And if whenever you're in our neck of the woods on your way to Whistler, let me know. We'll meet up for a while.
Definitely. Sounds great.
Alrighty. Thank you, Nicholas. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.